Greetings! This is the Empress, the not quite star yet of stage and studio, and I am going to do a few makeup tutorials. This is from a series that's going to be called Masquerade, high style makeup for women of all colors. We're going to do very high style looks, so don't be scared to experiment or change them as you see fit. They are very dramatic and very pretty. So I have my imperial beverage, nice hot coffee, and an entire spread of makeup, and we will begin. To start with, if you read along the text that goes with the video, I've already primed my field. So my battlefield is ready, my face has been washed and moisturized, and I've also put on a layer of foundation. Very mild foundation. I have sensitive skin, so I don't like to weigh it down. What I'm using right now is a really rich air-whipped blend of primer, which has a very satiny feel because it's gel-based, and foundation. I put on as little as possible to cover the major blemishes and create a smooth look. I'm not particularly picky about my face. I have a few chickenpox scars from when I was a kid, so as long as I can create a smooth palette to hold my makeup and hold a uniform color, I am happy. As a matter of fact, I like to use those little chickenpox scars, but you'll see that as we go on with the face. So I've already started. Usually I would recommend that you do your hair first, but I have a scarlet mohawk, and so that doesn't distract, I've just covered it all with a scarf. So firstly, I would recommend, if you use loose powders, that you get a small palette and a nice little stainless steel spoon to dish out your colors so you don't cross-contaminate with your brushes and your colors. The section choose your weapons, that's very important. What I like to use here, you'll see that's a very narrow angled liner brush, a fluffy angled blender, and one big fluffy blush brush. Those are the only three brushes I use most of the time unless I'm doing something very special. So let's start with face number one, which is fresh from the coffin, and this is going to be a very heavy goth look, so don't be scared to layer it on, and if you look like you just crawled out of the grave, you did a good job. So let's start. We're going to take a cream primer, which is this one. It's a little bit darker than my skin tone right out of the box, but once I put it on, it looks fabulous. So we're going to take a little bit of this cream primer on my finger, holding up the mirror here. We're just going to dab that onto the entire eyelid area. That'll create a smooth base for our eyeshadow. Give it something good to stick to. See, it blends very well. If you have any other big splotches that you might want to camouflage, then you can once again use this cream primer. That little spot right there, blend it down into the foundation. Same right there. You have to blend it well so that it doesn't become to look like a dark blemish itself. So now we are going to start with a light red color. Bright red. For the goth looks, you want to always stick with matte. So I have a bright scarlet in a matte shade. Going to swirl my brush around. So you swirl your brush around a bit and then tap to remove the excess because you don't want that flying all over the place. Now I'm going to start really big. This is what you call a wash, and it's the first layer of color that gets laid on all the way out to here, all the way up into my eyebrows. And for this look, because I want to look a little post-mortem, I'm also going to take it underneath my eye, sort of in the natural bag area. I have very strong lines right here. Those are hereditary. So I use them as a guide for when I create these really dramatic looks. So you start with a gentle dab to deposit most of the color, and then blend it all the way up into your eyebrows and out toward your hairline. Take the angle brush with the point facing toward the center of your eye and sweep underneath to give it that little bit of dark red under there. So once again, I'm getting more color on my brush. Tap it lightly. Go in again. Dab the color in to get the excess off the brush, and then go back and blend. We're going to take that all the way out to the hairline, past the edge of the eyebrow, all the way up into the eyebrows, all across, and just a smidget underneath. Right there under the eye. Make sure they're even here. Now you can already tell I'm starting to look a little scary, look like a red raccoon, but we're not done yet. The next layer we're going to take will be this dark burgundy color, which is well loved, it's well traveled, so it's come apart. So I'm going to get a little bit of that in the lid, tap the excess, and I'm going to go back, but only up until the crease of my eye right here. So just about halfway up. And if you don't have a very well-defined crease, I have very inset eyes, so if you don't have this well-defined crease line, just mathematically figure about halfway up. So right about there. And don't forget the stripe underneath the bottom. Drag that out, but not quite as far as you did your main red. So about halfway up the eyelid. Not quite as far out to the side as you did your main red, and underneath as well. So now you're starting to create a little bit more shadow. The dark colors recede, so you want to create that deep, deep sunken eye look by putting the light red, which is scarlet, and then the deeper red, which is burgundy. Now we get to have fun. Now I have a matte black, which can be hard to find, but I found a matte black. Once again, we're going to take some of the color and then tap. So we're loading our brush and then tapping the excess. Now you take the black and you're going to come in right along the eye, right along the top of the lash. Don't drag it out too far. And close your eye and run it across both lash lines. You can feather it out a little into the dark red with tiny light strokes until you get it where you want it. Feather it up just a wee bit. Whenever you do this kind of long line work, always make sure that the point of the brush is facing in toward the corner of your eye. That'll give you a lot more control. So I'm loading my brush with color and tapping it. We're going to come out across here and do the same. So we apply the heavy black line right here along the top. Get a little bit more color. Now we're going to go across both lash lines at once so we get that nice smudged I just woke up look. Without having to apply a lot of eyeliner. So once again, just whisk that to where you want it to go. Blend it so that it doesn't create too harsh of a line. If it spills past the red a little, that is a-okay, because you do want to look a little bit bloodshot, a little bit deceased, like you just walked out of a vampire movie.